YouTube. Hey y'all, thanks for coming out this afternoon. Welcome back to my home, those of you that have been joining me for the last couple of days. I started these virtual classes on Thursday, and I'm going to keep going every day until we are released from this quarantine. If you are just joining me for the first time, my name's Maria. Thanks for coming out. All you need is a little space for your mat. If you have props, great, use them. I'm going to kind of teach a propless class, assuming that a lot of people don't own blocks and straps and stuff like that. Sundays always feel like a little more chill to me. When I was teaching, I guess it was last week, I have 2 yin classes on Sunday, so it always just feels kind of like, nice yummy yoga. So we're going to do kind of a yummy, like slow flow stuff first, nothing too jarring, and then we'll kind of segue into some floor poses just to get you stretched out. I've also been starting every class with a kind of a food for thought reading. You might find it inspiring, might not speak to you. Today I cracked open my book, Fierce Medicine, by my girl Anna Forrest. She's a badass. In case you've never heard of her, you should check her out. And the title of this particular section of her book is called Change, the Only Constant. I'm coaching you to dance with the one constant in life, change. Do you choose stagnation or the unknown? Every choice you make can propel you toward change or keep you in the same dulling, suffocating box. Change is rebirth. When a caterpillar weaves herself into a chrysalis and undergoes metamorphosis, she emerges as a butterfly, bearing only the merest resemblance to her earlier self. Transformation can be really exciting, but we have to tolerate an incredible period of vulnerability when we emerge from the chrysalis, unfurling our very wet, very fragile wings. We discover that none of the old rules apply, not even how we nourish our new selves. Leaves don't cut it anymore. Only nectar will do. I've learned to recognize that with every change, I'm going to end up in new territory. Whether I embrace it, shed my chrysalis and evolve, or go down kicking and screaming. I've done it both ways and the choice is clear. I like to go through my changes with some amount of elegance and balance. I've developed a very quirky energy around change. Once I chose to live, I had to reframe why all these weird things happened to me. I had to recognize that with every change I could either embrace it, shed my skin and evolve, or find myself stupidly to stay in the rut. I play with cultivating a sense of humor about change. I'm an emotional fan dancer right now. I do my best to keep breathing and to stay centered through it. Each time I go through what comes up, I get a little nugget of wisdom. I want to help you do the same. Evolving is the best game in town. So I want to echo those words. I'm trying to help you transition through these crazy changes that we're all going through, me included, with some elegance and some balance. It's tricky. I hope that you have a support system, you have friends that you're doing virtual happy hours and potlucks with. I hope you have a dog, I hope you have a partner, I hope you have a mom that you're calling. We all need to stay connected and to help each other through this. So that's what we're going to do next. Without further ado, I am going to turn on some music. It's going to be the same music I played 2 days ago because you guys would not believe the technological shenanigans I've been going through to make this stuff happen. I have old technology and it's just been interesting. So go ahead and have a seat. On your mat, I'm gonna go put the music on. I want to give a shout out to a couple of people real quick. I know my sister is tuning in and she never does yoga, so woo! Talk about change and embracing change. And I think I just saw my daughter tune in too from California, so this is awesome. We're just going to start out sitting, okay? You can sit with your legs crossed if you like. If you want to fold your legs underneath you, sit on a block, sit in a chair if you want to. It's totally fine. I'd like you to just sit nice and tall. So it's spring. I know it doesn't feel like it. Here in Michigan it's about 26 degrees. It's really cold. But it is spring. I'm starting to see things blossoming. I'm starting to see little buds on the trees. And so I want you to imagine that you are a plant, a tree. And you've got this groundedness in your base, right? You're grounding your pelvis, you're grounding your sit bones. And then from that groundedness, that solid base, you're going to emerge like a plant coming up through the soil, reaching for the sky. And that's what your spine should feel like, nice and long. So try not to get into this habit, okay? This feels like a resigned, oh, woe is me attitude. Come on now. We're all going to get strong and tall and lifted. And then bring a little smile to your face. Take a couple of deep breaths in through the nostrils. And then as you take another breath, reach your arms up nice and high. Whoops, my phone just fell. I'm going to go fix that. You guys reach up and down with the arms. Hello, it's me again. Yeah. I actually have my phone taped to something. That's how high-tech I am today. And then reach up one more time. And this time, keep your arms over your head. Lace your fingers together and press the palms to the ceiling. Nice big stretch. And we're going to go right and left. Or if you prefer, left and right. I always feel like my lefties get kind of screwed over. We always go to the right first. Yeah, one more time. And then nice and easy release. We're going to take the hands behind the back. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. I'm going to have you turn your fingers away from your hips. So kind of like this. And then just really push into your palms and open the chest. Take the head back. And then we're going to move in the opposite direction. So move forward, coming into a bound angle pose, leaning towards your legs any amount. Just rounding your back is fine. And then nice and easy, you're going to come up and take your hands behind your back again. But this time we're going to take the feet out front, about a hip distance apart. Press down into your hands. Lift your hips nice and high, reverse tabletop. And then gently bring your hips back to the floor. We're going to extend the legs this time. Flex your feet, spread your toes nice and wide. Wake those feet up. Take another big breath in. And as you exhale, fold forward. If you like, you can crack your toes. I always like cracking my toes. Feels good. And then inhale, come back up again. One more time, hands behind the back, fingers pointing towards toes. This time, big push, incline plane, lift your hips. Take your head back. If it bothers your neck, just keep your head lifted. Take one more big breath here. Reach those feet to the floor. Good. And then nice and easy, bring those hips back down. So we're going to swing the legs around back. We're going to do our usual cat-cow sequence. Every class I do, I don't care if it's my most advanced level class or my most beginner, I always do a couple rounds of cat-cow. So all you need to do is arch your back as you inhale, exhale, and round your back. Yeah? And then nice and easy, go ahead and press back to your first downward dog. So if this is really the first big stretch you've done today and your hamstrings are feeling really locked up, go ahead and pedal your feet a few times. And then press back evenly, maybe lifting the heels together. And then we're going to shift into a really strong plank position. So navel to spine. And we're just going to shift back and forth. So come onto the balls of your feet, but then shift all the way to the toenails, and then press your heels back. And just keep the feet moving here. So rolling over and articulating all the bones in your feet. Good, and then bring your right knee to the floor. Pivot your leg like the back of a picture frame. And just reach up for a side plank. So I'm going to give you a couple of variations here. If you want, you can lift the leg, do this modified half moon pose. Or you can even reach back, grab a hold of your foot, and really open up front body again. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling like I need to do a lot of back bending lately. A lot of front body openers. Great. Let it go. Press back. Downward dog. 3 or 4 breaths here. Nice big stretch. Press the heels way down to the floor. And then we shift into that plank pose again. Then I'm going to face away from you, but we're going to bring the left knee down, pivot the lower leg, reach up again. Option 1. Option 2, lift the leg. Option 3, grab a hold of your foot and open it up. And just breathe into any part of the body that feels like it's been kind of closed down or stuck for a while. For me, that's always my hips. Good, and then let that go again. Nice and easy, bring the toes together, knees wide. Let's go into an extended child's pose. And I want to offer this pose to you so you can do it at any point in the practice if you need to take a break, okay? Good, and then nice and easy, come on back to all fours. We're going to shift into a dragon or lizard posture. So step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So you've got hand, hand, foot all lined up. And we're going to leave that back knee on the floor. If you're able to, also shift into your forearms. That might be way too much today, so I'm going to stay here with y'all if you can't get your elbows to the ground. And just balance there for a breath or two. And then place your left hand on the floor. We're just going to drop into that left hip a whole bunch. You can let this right knee tip out if you want to. And then reach up again. Good, and then place your hand. And just take that leg back. We'll come to the other side in a moment. But first, lower your body to the floor. Bring your hands right alongside your ribs, okay? And then squeeze your elbows in. We're going to come into a little cobra pose as high as you can, and then release and bow down. And then inhale and lift. Keep your feet on the floor if you can. Exhale and release. And again, inhale, elbows in. And if you want, pause here or take it all the way into an upward facing dog. Just balancing on the tops of the ankles and the palms of your hands. If that's too much for you, just stay in that cobra pose with your hips on the floor. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. And then bring the knees to the floor. Round your back in cat. And then nice and easy, step that left foot to the outside of your left pinky finger. So dragon pose again, coming into the second side. Just getting lay of the land. If you feel like you can take it a little deeper, bring your forearms to the floor. Pause. And then nice and easy, press up, right hand stays on the floor. We're gonna kind of drop into that right hip. So tip, and then maybe twist, and then maybe let this knee drop out. Just play around with this. There's no set, aesthetic here. You're just trying to play around and feel your body. What does it need right now? Yeah, hand to the floor. Step back again, and release all the way down. Good, so this time take your arms behind you, and we're not going to use the arms at all. We're going to use your back muscles to help you lift up into this back bend. Still keeping your feet on the floor if possible. And then again, hands alongside the ribs, press up and round the back once again. Cat stretch. Good, and let's take it back to that downward facing dog. Then we're actually just going to walk the hands to the feet and just bow forward like you did when you were sitting earlier. Good, and then bend your knees. We're going to keep our feet about hip distance apart here, okay? I'm going to ask you to try to balance on one leg here for a little hip opener. We're going to grab a hold of that right ankle and rest it on top of your left thigh. And just pause here. It's kind of a weird variation of chair pose. Okay, and then just rise up. Stretch that leg out in front of you. Hold it. This isn't very easy. If you need to, bend your knee a little bit. And then nice and easy, put your foot back down. Again, about hip distance. We'll sit back, drop into that chair, and then just like you would if you were sitting in a chair, cross that ankle above the top of the thigh. Either keep your hands here or raise them up. Chair pose. And then drive down into that standing leg. Extend the leg out front, pause. Navel to spine, you guys got this, you're strong. Hold it. Good. And then bring your foot to the floor. And we're going to bow forward again. From the pelvis, as far as you can, and then just let yourself hang. So hold on to your elbows here and just kind of swing side to side like an elephant. Good. And then come up again. And we're just going to step the right foot forward for warrior one. So take one step, and then if you can, maybe another step. Keeping in mind that in warrior one, we keep our hips facing forward. So you're facing straight on to the front of your mat. Pelvis is rotating forward. You're going to raise those arms again. But we're going to do this little movement in the shoulder pattern here. So it's almost like you're doing if you're used to weightlifting, like a lat pull down. And I want you to feel the movement of your shoulder blades on your back. So as you inhale, you're going to reach up, palms facing each other. As you exhale, come into these cactus arms and squeeze, and then just do that one more time. Nice. And then hands go behind the head, and we'll just lay that head back in the hands. Really feel the stretch across the front body. Then take the arms and swing them back, leaning forward. Inhale, reaching up again. Exhale, leaning forward. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, like you're the hood ornament on the front of a Rolls Royce, right? And then one more time. And if you can, shift your weight, come right into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3, and hold this. If this isn't working for you, just stay in that other variation of Warrior 1, yeah? And then nice and easy, step back, hands to your hips. Ooh, 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 maybe shake those hips out a little bit, get ready for round 2. So, Feet are hip distance, and they stay that way when you're in warrior one. Right? Rather than one foot in front of the other. And then we're going to rotate that hip again. Use your own hands if you need to. Take the arms up again. So that back leg is really straight. You're driving the heel into the floor. We're going to exhale again. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull those elbows down. One more time. Good. Now keep the elbows back there. Lace the fingers together again. Drop the head into your hands. So open the throat, but don't jam the back of your neck. Yeah? And then we take the arms back as we exhale. Lean forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Lean forward. Inhale. Exhale. All right, guys, here's the moment of truth. Nice and easy. Shift your body weight. Warrior three. Keep your gaze steady. Try to level your hips. Straighten out that back leg. Spread your toes. Flex your ankle. One more breath. And we step back. How'd you do? Who cares, right? Nobody sees. If you fell, nobody cares. Falling's part of the learning process anyway, right? Big breath in again. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, walk it all out to your plank again. All right, so we're going to do another side plank, but this time, you could put your knee down again if you want, but this time try to stagger or stack your legs, okay? So a little bit stronger pose here. And then just balance on that right hand. Ah, floating light as a feather. Right? And then place your left hand down, and we'll flip to the other side. Either knee down like we did last time, or challenge yourself a little here. Stack or stagger the legs. Reach up. One more breath. And then hand to the floor. Okay, so lower yourself to the floor again, if you want, via chaturanga. And then we're going to go into another back bend, prone back bend. I think my head was getting cut off last time. So this time, lace your fingers together, lift your chest, squeeze the shoulder blades, and lift the legs at the same time. So again, a little bit more energetic than what we started with. We're just going to keep building these back bends, but you can always take it back a notch to one we've already done together. One more breath. And let it go. Bring your hands to the floor. Push up slowly round the back for a counter pose. Again. Good, you guys. And then walk those hands forward. Turn your toes under, downward facing dog again. All right, so we're going to take the left leg high, and I've just been starting that way because that's the side facing the camera. And I want you to do kind of an upside down triangle here. So don't bend the knee and don't throw it way back here. Just kind of keep your left foot right over your right foot and raise the leg as high as you can. Good. And then from there, shift forward. Actually, let's not do that. Let's do the other leg. Lift the right leg. Stack your hips. Come into that triangle, upside down triangle. And then we're going to step the right foot forward. And you may have to rearrange your feet once you're upright. What you want to end up with is what I've got going on here. The right heel intersecting with the left arch, okay? So we're going to move into a triangle posture. Almost every practice I do has a triangle pose in it. I just love this pose. And you can lean pretty heavily onto this leg, or you can not lean very heavily and really work your core. Up to you. Some people really like to have the hand just resting at the inner ankle. Rotate your head to look up at the ceiling. And really focus on the inseam of this leg. Can you feel that? The inseam of the leg, really getting a good stretch here. And then we're going to go just a little deeper into that. So come up. We did this yesterday. We're going to move into crouching tiger and turn the toes up. If you can't come into this deep squat, just go halfway down and you'll still feel the stretch. And really flex that foot, pull the toes towards your hip. And you'll see why we're going to do this later on for something a little bit more intense in the old inner thighs. And then just one more time, either with the triangle, or if you'd like, come into your half moon. I'm going to back up just a little bit so I'm still in the frame. Balance on that leg, raise the left leg. Good. And then when you step back or come up, if you were staying in triangle, go ahead and just pivot your right foot. And we're going to bow forward. Nice and easy. Bringing the fingertips to the floor. If you can keep going, bring the head towards the floor. Okay, we're going to try a twist together today. I'll show you a basic version and then I'll show you one that's a little bit more intense. We're going to raise the right arm. So here's the first version. The second version is you take that right arm behind your back, grab a hold of your own inner thigh or maybe just the pant leg, and then reach across with your left hand and lean back, not towards the right leg, but lean back towards the left leg. Oh, this one's so good. How's it going so far? You okay? Good. Unwind. Come all the way up. Turn your front foot one more time. One more triangle. This time take this arm and reach right alongside your ear. And then we bring the hands to the floor. Those of you that are fans of or familiar with the vinyasa, you can move through chaturanga, that cobra pose we did earlier, and then back to downward facing dog. Okay, so going back to the left leg, you're going to step up and we're going to repeat that sequence on the second side. Okay? So now you get the rear view. Fall right into that first triangle and hold. And while you're there, I'm going to grab a quick drink of coconut water. My new favorite thing. Electrolytes, people, very important. Hold that posture for one more breath. And then when you come up, we're going to segue into our crouching tiger. So this is the bending leg, the one towards the back of the mat. And then the extended leg is your left leg. So turn those toes up towards the ceiling again. And really press the ball joint of that big toe away from you. You'll really feel it in the inner thigh that way, those adductors. Good. So, just like last time, you can repeat triangle, or if you prefer, you can move into half moon. I'm going to back up again. And just raise that leg behind you, but nice and strong again, okay? So all the way down to your pinky toe, fire up that leg. Open those hips up. And then nice and easy, either just come up from triangle or step back from half moon. We're going to pivot the feet again. This time go ahead and lace the fingers together and bow forward. When I was teaching this pose the other day in class, I think it was my last class that I actually taught at East Bank on Tuesday, we were in this pose looking through the windows out from the 4th floor at all the high-rises. And it just felt like an apropos metaphor. The world was literally upside down, right? Come into that twist I showed you, either arms reaching or you're going to do the bind. Topsy-turvy world we're in right now, kids. Probably don't need to tell you that. Good. And then nice and easy, come up. We do that third triangle, either reaching up or reach across like this and get that nice big side body stretch. One more breath. And then hands to the floor. We step back, plank pose, and you can go right to down dog from here, or chaturanga, strong cobra or up dog, and then back to down dog. Okay, walk your hands to your feet again. Come up to standing. All right, so this is where we're going to throw in another variant of that inner thigh stretch. It's almost like you're going to do a standing triangle pose, okay? So we're going to sit into our little baby chair again. We're going to cross the right ankle above the left thigh and pause here. And I want you to just try this, okay? Even if you're like, I'm brand new. You never know. I had a guy come in the first time and he was so excited to try everything. He ended up in crow in his first class. It was crazy. So you never know unless you try. Take your right palm, cup your palm around the outer edge of your right foot, left hand on your hip, and you're just gonna, like that plant I was talking about, like that tree, like that crocus emerging from the earth, you're going to rise up nice and strong and extend that leg. Woo! Maybe extend the arm. You got it? One more breath. And then nice and easy. Meow. Have a seat again. Good job. Let's try the other side. Okay, same thing. We're going to cross the left ankle above the right leg. So we're sitting to begin. We're in a little squat. Okay, so get solid there. Find your drishti, your focal point out in front. Cup your left hand underneath your left foot. And then 1, 2, 3. You're rooting down. Super strong, you guys. Rising up nice and slow. And just open it up, whatever that means to you. Stretch, lift, breathe, smile, rejoice in the ability to move your body like this. And then bring it down. And let's do a bigger low back release. Let's go into Malasana. Oh, yes. So turn your toes out. And try to keep your heels on the floor, so you might have to separate your feet a little bit. Again, if this is too much on the knees, just come up a little higher. Don't put so much pressure. Or if you have blocks, you can always sit on your blocks, okay? And just balance here for a moment. So good. I think, is it? Feel good? Bring your hands behind your back. Set your butt down. Then we're going to move into a boat pose. Your choice how you want to do this, okay? Yesterday we did boat pose, kind of the traditional way. So you can do it, you know, knees bent or legs straight. What I'm going to propose to some of y'all, if you want to try it, is you take your first 2 fingers between your big toe and your second toe, you tip back, and either extend straight out in front, or because I'm really fixated on my inner thighs today, I'm going to do this straddle version. Ba-ba! One more breath. You're doing great. And then we go right back to the very, very beginning. Soles of the feet together. Bow forward. Bound angle pose. And maybe just a little bit of rock side to side. Good. Okay, nice and easy. Swing your legs around back. Downward facing dog. And then we're going to move into that side plank as promised. So remember, we've got a couple of options. You can either do the knee down, you can do the legs stacked, or since we just did this wacky pose at the back of the mat, maybe try the wacky pose here. What? Yeah. I know some of you are trying. Come on now. Give it a shot. And then let it go. Switch sides. Same thing. Knee down. traditional legs stacked, or grab your toe and reach. Really remember, you got to always root down to rise up. So push that palm really hard into the floor. Push the edge of your foot really hard into the floor. And then we come back down to our bellies for yet another back bend. So we've done a whole bunch here, right? We've done cobra, we've done this, we did this. So now what I'm going to propose is the big kahuna here, bow pose. So if you can, grab a hold of both feet, ankles, whatever you got back there. Give the shoulder blades a good squeeze, and then 1, 2, 3, lift. And try to, I know this is mostly a pose of effort, but try to find some ease in the posture. In your face, for example, your jaw. Breathe, one more big breath, and then let it go. Press up and around your back again. Okay, let's move into some deep stretches now. All right, I'm going to propose pigeon posture, sleeping pigeon. I'll admit it to you, this is not my favorite pose. In fact, most hip openers are not my favorite because I have really tight hips for a yogi. But I do my best. So what you want to do here is arrange this left leg. Let's start with the left leg. So that the leg kind of looks like the number 7. And then slide the other knee back as far as you can and drop into the forearms, okay? This is as far as I'm going to go, but you are more than welcome to come all the way to the floor like we do in child's pose, okay? And just breathe here. And just maybe if you need to, close your eyes. And just notice if you're holding a lot of tension there, like you're gripping or you're guarding the joint. Is there a way that you can let that go a little bit when you're exhaling? And the answer may be not really. Maybe you're kind of injured like I am. My right hip is really messed up, and your body is actually trying to protect that joint. But it's hard to tell if that is a good thing or a bad thing, or if just it's not really facilitating your healing process. Maybe if you just hang out here for a bit and you let go, oh, that already feels better. Then press up to your fingertips. So there you are, in yet another back bend, and you can just pause right here, or bend that leg, reach back, and open up for not quite king pigeon. Okay, now we're not going to push back to down dog today. What we're going to do is sit and then swing this leg around front and pause for a moment just to contemplate our hips, okay? And we'll do like a little palate cleanser in the middle here. We're going to do a little spinal twist. Bring your right hand across to the outside of your left knee and twist. And then unwind and we'll twist the other way. Keep that spine really long. All right, nice job. So keep the right leg in front now. Swing the left leg around back. If you have a block, you guys, or even a book, you could put it underneath your hip on this side, if that feels better. And also, if your knee is not feeling so hot in this pose, you can just lay on your back for figure 4, crossing your ankle above your knee like we did in that chair variation earlier. So again, if this was really my yin class, we would be in this ridiculous pose for like 5 minutes. It's intense. But in the interest of time and fitting this into the Instagram Live paradigm, which is an hour, I found out the other day, We're only going to hold this for maybe like 10 or 12 breaths. I think I mentioned the other day that one of my teachers used to call the hips the junk drawer. And very often when I first started practicing yoga, I would get really emotional if I was in this pose for a long time. As in, I would start crying. Not in pain, just like, I don't know, it was this cathartic release that I would have. So sometimes this will come up, and I mention it just because people get embarrassed if they laugh or cry in yoga, and it's totally fine and actually kind of great because it means you've released something that you've been holding in your body, right? So let it go. One more breath. It's always one more breath, right? And then you're going to sit again. And then bring that leg back around. Okay, so I'm going to face you this time. You're going to stay nice and tall again. Let's do that little palate cleanser. Twist to one side. And then twist to the other side. So we're going to do something called reclining saddle pose. It's a back bend, but it's really intense on the knees and the ankles. So if you're not able to do this particular posture, you're going to do a bridge pose. It's very similar in how it affects the body, but it's not going to put as much pressure on your knees or your ankles. So to set up reclining saddle, you bring your toes together and your knees wide like you did in that child's pose earlier, okay? And then you come to sitting on your heels. So first just gauge whether or not this is going to work for you. And if you're okay, you're going to start to lean back. Start out just leaning back into your hands. And then check in and see how that feels. If you think you can go further, first pick up your hips. Tuck your tailbone really strongly so that you get a little pelvic tilt, tailbone tucking, and then set your hips back down, this time probably on your ankles. And take it to the next level, which would be your forearms. Now here's where things get, intense for a lot of people. The quads are really screaming at you. So don't go any further if you feel like your shins are going to pop up, but if you're able to, take it all the way into a full recline. So this is my reclining saddle pose for those of you without any knee or ankle issues. The rest of you guys, hopefully you did what I asked you to do. But if not, you can come into, like I said, bridge. Yeah? Similar, but different. It's okay, we're all doing our own thing. I don't know if you can see this in the screen, probably not, because probably you're not looking at your phone anymore, but I'm really doing a big belly breath here. Very therapeutic. It's really good to learn to use your diaphragm again, to get a full breath. And then release. So you guys that are in bridge, just bring your hips to the floor. You guys that were in reclining saddle, make your way back all the way up. And then swing your legs out front. Then you're going to join your comrades on the floor for a twist. So let's start out just pulling the knees in first. Maybe rolling around a little bit on the low back. Give yourself a little massage. We're going to extend the left leg, okay? Take the arms out to the side. You're going to keep your right knee bent. And I usually scoot my hips over a little bit to the right before twisting to the left. And you can do this variation where you just have your foot tucked behind your knee or in front of your knee. I have students, this is no big deal. You can just extend the leg, grab a hold of your foot. And a yin twist that we did yesterday, you add on grabbing a hold of the left foot with your right hand and then lay back down to the twist. This is cat catching its own tail. So any of those twist variations, okay? Same kind of thing I asked you to do though with the hip openers. Focus, breathe, try to release on the exhale. And then release your feet if you're holding on to them. Roll back onto your back. If you did the hip scooch like I did, put your hips back in the middle. And we'll switch sides. So you're going to extend your right leg, pick your hips up and move them over to the left, and then spinal twist. And if you're lucky, maybe your back will crack a little bit. Oh, there goes mine. And option 2, extend the top leg. And then option 3, reach back, grab a hold of the foot, and lay back down. So as you can imagine, this one's the most challenging version. There's a lot going on here, but if you can get into it or even close to it, it feels so good. So good. Beautiful. Let go of those feet. Roll onto your back, scoot your hips again. And then let's come into happy baby pose, which may actually feel more like dead bug pose today. I don't know how you guys are feeling. Hang out there for a breath or two. And then cross your ankles, roll up. Cool. All right, I'm going to face you this time. So you have 2 variations for this next side body twisty stretch thing, okay? If your knees are okay with it, you're going to do kind of what you did in that reclining saddle, which is now you're kind of in a hurdler stretch, right? You're going to take your leg behind you. You still want to keep a whole bunch of space between your thighs, and you'll flex this foot. Okay, so let me show the other variation first for the people whose knees do not like that. Pull your foot into the middle instead, reach up and over, and rotate your chest to the ceiling. If you're going to do this other one, it's a little more intense because there's a bind. You're going to take your right palm face down underneath your left thigh, grab that left ankle, then reach up and over, grab a hold of your right foot. Yeah! Crazy Cirque du Soleil yoga stuff, huh? It's not that crazy. Then don't come up using your back muscles. Take this left hand and push yourself up. Nice job, you guys. Extend the leg that was bent. And then bring this other guy either behind you, if that's the version you did, or pull the foot up against your inner thigh, okay? And then same thing, we're reaching up and over, all of us, but the people doing the bind, you're going to turn your left palm down, grab a hold of your right ankle, and then reach up and over. Yes, so good. It's that hurt feel good, isn't it? It's a little strange. One more breath. And then nice and easy again, push up. And extend both legs. Okay, so back to the old inner thighs. Take a look at your feet and make sure your feet are pointing straight up to the ceiling. Your knees and your feet are pointing straight up to the ceiling. If you have a tendency to roll out, you're going to have to use some muscular effort to avoid that. Maybe roll the thigh bones in so those sit bones are really grounded. Take a big breath, and then exhale, bow forward. In yin yoga, we call this dragonfly. Just let your head bow forward. Can you guys hear the train? It's one of my favorite sounds in the world. I've almost always lived next to a train. Good, and then bring those hands back in. And I know we've done this twice already today, but we're gonna do it again. Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Take a deep breath and then bow forward. Actually, you know what, before we do that, I recently did a fit fitness workshop, and I realized, boy, all of us need to work on our feet a little more. So, for extra credit, take your fingers in between each toe on both feet. And just smush them in there. Good. Then, hold on to those guys and fold forward. Oh, so much better. Yeah? And maybe even wiggle them around a little bit. Give them a good massage. This helps to open up those metatarsals. All that space when you're walking around with your feet squished in shoes all the time, yeah? And then as you release, your feet feel minty fresh, don't they? Oh, I love that. Extend your legs. Take a big breath in. And in yin, we call this caterpillar. Very appropriate considering the little reading I started with about metamorphosis, right? Fold forward. Good, and then press up, and then we're going to take this exact same pose and flip it 180 degrees, and then we call that snail. You might know it as plow pose. If you're not up for this posture, you got a neck injury, it just feels claustrophobic to you, you can just lay here with your legs up. This is Viparita Karani. Otherwise, up and over. And the variation I'm going to propose today is, if you want, you can let your knees drop around your ears and maybe reach for your feet. Try to pull your shin bones to the floor. Otherwise, I would definitely just stay with hands on your back, legs reaching behind you, trying to get your hips on top of your shoulders. Now this is a great opportunity to put yourself into shoulder stand. So if you want to do that, you're going to sneak your shoulder blades together a little first. Place your hands on your back and then raise your legs to the ceiling. You guys that are in Viparita Karani, hang tight. We'll be with you in a moment. Don't forget to breathe here. Still belly breathing. This is actually like weightlifting for your diaphragm, because all of your abdominal organs are now smushed up against your diaphragm. Good, and then bring your legs back over your head. Now don't come right out of this thing, okay? I want you to take it slow. Put your arms down, ease your hips to the floor, and let's do one more boat pose. This is Ardha Navasana. We're just going to extend the legs about a foot off the floor, keep the lower back on the floor. Can you stay a little bit longer with me? Maybe? Good. And then pull the knees in again. So we've done Baddha Konasana a couple times today. We're going to do Supta, which just means reclining. So bring the soles of your feet together again and take the arms over your head. And in, again, coincidentally maybe, or not, in Yin Yoga we call this position, this shape, butterfly. So there you go. Caterpillars and butterflies, chrysalis, metamorphosis. Learning to navigate change. Good, you guys. Now bring your thighs together. Take your feet wide. So this is another little hip opener. I don't really know what it's called, but I do it a lot because it feels great. This is more internal rotation of the legs, so you want your feet as wide as the mat. You're going to tip the knees to the left, so they're kind of in this zigzag pattern. And then if you think you can handle a little more weight, take your left ankle to your outer right knee And then stretch your right arm as far as you can towards the wall behind you. Maybe put your left hand on your belly just to help yourself feel the breath, to cue yourself to breathe through whatever it is that you're experiencing. Remember, the breath is your ally. And I'm not just talking about when you're on your mat, okay? When you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling overwhelmed, take a couple minutes, just close your eyes, slow the pace of your breath. I promise you'll feel better. Good. Now slide that left ankle to the floor. Slowly bring your knees back. Make sure the feet again are or as wide as the mat. They're actually wider than hip distance. Drop them over to the right. Right ankle to outer left knee, and then reach the left arm towards the wall behind you. Right hand just resting very lightly on your belly. One more full breath in through the nose. Let it out and release that foot. Good. So, option here for Shavasana. Those of you that are like me, perhaps that have some low back tension, what you can do is keep your feet as wide as the mat. Let the knees drop together so your legs kind of look like a little tent. And this is really a nice supported position for the low back and the pelvis. It feels really nice, and you can just turn your palms face up. If you're okay, then you want to go ahead and just move into regular Shavasana. Just extend the legs, turn your palms face up, close your eyes. If you needed to put socks, sweatshirt, blanket on first, that's fine. We'll still be here. Yesterday I went to the beach and I picked up a whole bunch of smooth, flat, heavy pebbles to lay in my palms in Shavasana. And I'm going to bring them back to Chicago for when I start teaching in person again. And we're going to just rest them in the palms of our hands. It's very soothing, very comforting to have some weight in your hands. I'm going to let you drift off into your own little experience of Shavasana, your final pose, for 5, 10, 15 minutes. If you have your phone nearby, maybe you want to set a timer. Otherwise, I don't know, do you really need a timer? What do you really have that's going to go on today that you have to set a timer for? Maybe experience this thing of just letting go completely, letting go of the time, surrendering into the posture. I want to thank you again for joining me. Remember, this will be up live for the next 24 hours, 23 hours. And thanks again to everyone who's been contributing via Venmo. I really, really appreciate it. You're all amazing, awesome, beautiful, and I'm here for you. I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.